On a day at the end of my ninth grade, I skipped class and took a bus to the old quarter for a bit of winding down from all the exam revision. I then walked for 2 hours continuously around the old quarter. My leg muscle was so tight, but I just kept on walking and walking. I felt something that made me intrigued, that sparked the curiosity inside me. It could be the dynamic of it, of how it was so chaotic and noisy, but yet so calming, so out of order, yet making a lot of sense when I look into the detail. The way everyone there was trying to make a living. Each street there having vendors with the according type of product of that street for tourists and people in Hanoi to come to buy. All of that creating the Hanoi 36 phố phường that I love. After that day, the old quarter has continued to be my dearest place. Whenever I can, I always go there to take photos and videos for my Instagram. The more I go there, the more curious I am about the lives of the people there, how people with different jobs make a living, and how they interact with the countless tourists and locals who visit every day. This curiosity has led me to delve deeper and beyond just the surface of the hustle and bustle, to understand the stories and struggles of the vendors. This curiosity eventually evolved into my individual research project, where I aim to understand how local sellers in the old quarter use different communication styles to engage with customers and sell their products. I focused on the sellers of clothes and accessories, observing their interactions and noting the differences in their approaches. And in this podcast, I'll share my findings and my insights from my fieldwork. We'll explore the variations in communicative practices among these sellers, using the ethnography of communication framework to understand how cultural and social context influence these practices. Additionally, we'll look at how globalization and changes in the local economy might explain sellers' different behaviors and attitude in the old quarter compared to other markets in Hanoi. And now, let's sit back and enjoy. First, we'll have a quick explanation of the framework that I want to use, which is the Ethnography of Communication framework by Dale Hyams. Dale Hyams, according to Wikipedia, he is a linguist, sociolinguist, anthropologist, and folklorist who established disciplinary foundation for the comparative ethnographic study of language use. He developed the Delham speaking model, which stands for as below. This model is used to document and analyze speech events and to further understand the intercorrelation between these factors that affect the communication styles of the speakers. In my experience with the sellers at the night market, we can fix it on some of the factors in the speaking model. First, we know that the setting and scene took place at the night market. The participants were the sellers, me and my friend. Because the sellers wanted to sell their products, the tones of the speech were informative and persuasive. So, next, let's listen to my audio record of my interactions. The first interaction took place in an accessory booth, and it made me a bit surprised because of how short and how the sellers were so unwilling to engage in bargaining with us. It seemed like the purpose of the speech was to tell us to go away if we did not want to pay the fixed price. And from my perspective, I think that they still wanted to sell the product at their desired price, but as I was watching the scene of the booth, there were also many guests that wanted to lower the prices, and the sellers were a bit tired of bargaining, so they would rather reject bargaining than giving the energy to sell lower price. Put that aside, we then walked to the next accessory booth and pretended to be foreigners. This second interaction was much more engaging and met my expectations. She thought that my friend and I were foreigners, so she provided us with information that created a sense of urgency by emphasizing that they were going to close the next day and offering multiple discounts. This tactic was clever and showed the purpose of the seller to persuade us to buy more products. The act sequence is also clear. The sequence started with the seller's friendly asking about what I liked, followed by her pitch about the limited time and discount. We then proceeded to asking about the prices, leading to a back and forth negotiation. The tone was much friendlier and more engaging compared to the first one. The seller's key was an upbeat manner and enthusiastic offers that made us feel like we are getting a special deal. They effectively built momentum in the conversation by starting with engaging questions and then they moving on to persuasive offers like if you buy 10 get 2 free, buy 5 and get 1 free. Moreover, the seller's approach showed that they understood us, who were their customer, well. She recognized us as potential buyers who might be swayed by discounts and urgency, and this was quite different from the first seller, who seemed less interested in engaging deeply with each customer, possibly because they were tired or had a different business strategy. And what stands out is how the seller adapted their strategy based on my perceived buying interest. When I first asked about one bag in the booth, she then introduced me to more bags that may interest me. The seller created an environment where I felt more inclined to buy by using urgency, special offers, and friendly interactions. This interaction quite satisfies me, and now let's move on to the next interaction at a closed store. Cái này mình bao nhiêu?
Em giảm được 100.
100. Cả số này 100 đi.
Không, có loại cốt tiền đắt hơn. Em này 150.
150. Không. At this store, at first, I thought the conversation was going to be long and the seller was willing to talk with us. But after this conversation, he then left my friend and me alone for the rest of the time to choose whatever we wanted, and in the end, we walked out of the store with nothing. Different from the previous seller who was trying to help us choose a product, this seller informed us about the price only and did not advise us on what to buy or ask what we liked. The end of the seller was not clear also. I did not know if he wanted to sell us something or if he considered us some tourists just coming by to look. But this scenario continued to happen again and again at all the stores that we went after this. I don't show it here because it is quite repetitive at this time and it started to become a trend. But I also think of some explanations for this lack of enthusiasm in the most dynamic market in Hanoi. In the process of researching for my ISP, Professor David Cole gave me a book called Tiếng Hà Nội, từ hướng tiếp cận phương ngữ học xã hội by Miss Trịnh Cẩm Lan, which is translated to Hanoi language from a sociolinguist approach. There's a chapter in which the author analyzed the communication style used by small traders in Hanoi and taking samples of the clothes sellers at Kham Thiên Market. She presented a lot of strategies used by sellers to reach transactions at the desired prices, showing that the sellers there are trying to create the right atmosphere for the buyers to be comfortable to purchase. With the motive of customers are kings, the sellers try to establish a close connection with the customers by praising them when customers try on clothes or allowing customers to bargain and then negotiate to reach a win-win transaction, etc. The wide range of strategies presented in the book shows that the sellers at Kham Thiên Market are more willing to engage customers in a conversation with them, while from my observation, the sellers at the night market in the old quarter did not quite meet my expectations. I also have the same observation at Mist Lan as some of my local market, as the clothes sellers are always trying to give me a wide range of options. They praise their products and they try to show that they are giving me a good deal, It shows that the sellers here are in fact in control of the conversation to reach their goals, while the sellers of the night market did not put so much effort in it. As the Old Quarter is the most dynamic and tourist attractive place in Hanoi, sellers there often have to deal with a lot of bargaining. Tourists are advised to bargain because they are told that prices at the night market are often high, and with the rise of online shopping platforms, cheaper products are more accessible. So I hypothesize that the people who are going to the night market expect to reach the same cheap prices. Moreover, the night market lacks the notion of khách quen, which is the regular customers, as the main customers of the night market are tourists, while normal local market sellers have a lot of regular customers that go there frequently. Local market sellers are more able to establish closer connections with regular customers, and they want to maintain that relationship by allowing customers to bargain, while sellers at the night market mostly have no opportunity to establish that connections. So, bargaining actually does not give the seller at the night market the same benefit as sellers at the local markets, which serves to maintain a frequent visit from customer to their stores. For that reason, sellers at the night market often hang a board that show a fixed price for each product, and they are not willing to engage in a conversation with customers who want to bargain. This can also be a strategy used only by sellers at the night market, as giving out too much energy on negotiating is not effective. They prefer shorter conversations that reach transactions faster. Tourists come and go. There are also thousands of tourists coming to the night market, so I think the amount of customers that agree with the prices is sustainable enough and more efficient to them than trying to get as many customers as possible by allowing them to bargain. So, with the rise of mass tourism flowing into Hanoi, I feel that the rise makes the sellers in the old mall quarter lose their enthusiasm. Of course, there's still exceptions like my second interaction, but the number, I think, is decreasing. The setting and scene of this interaction took place in a bustling environment, filled with tourists and locals, creates a fast-paced atmosphere where efficiency is key. The norms of interaction has shifted to accommodate this setting, with shorter, more direct conversation becoming the norm. Moreover, the instrumentalities used by the sellers, primarily face-to-face verbal communication, are tailored to be effective in this crowded, noisy environment. Sellers need to quickly grab attention and make their pitch, often resorting to louder, more assertive tones to stand out amidst the chaos. The rise of mass tourism has undeniably influenced these communication practices. Vendors, who once relied on building long-term relationships with local customers, now focus on quick and one-time sales. This change has led to a more commercialized and less personal market experience, which, from my opinion, can be seen as a both positive adaptation to economic opportunities and a loss of traditional market value. Working on this independent study project has been an incredible journey of learning and growth, both academically and personally. When I first set out to explore the communication styles of the vendors in the old quarter, I had a clear plan. First is to interview the sellers and then gather the data and then analyze the strategies. However, reality quickly set in, and I learned that not everything goes as planned. Many vendors were reluctant and denied to be interviewed, and this forced me to improvise and adapt my approach. Instead of formal interviews, I became a customer myself to engage with the sellers and experience their sales tactics directly. This change in method was initially daunting to me, but it turned out to be incredibly insightful. I learned to think right in time, to observe keenly, and to engage in real-time analysis. One of the key takeaways from this project is the importance of flexibility. For me, plans are essential, but the ability to adapt when things don't go as expected is equally crucial. This experience taught me that research is not always a straight path. It often requires detours and adjustment. And I think that's okay. This unexpected twist can lead to a richer, more authentic insights than any carefully laid out plan might have. Furthermore, this project deepened my understanding of the dynamic nature of communication. The vendors' strategies varied widely, reflecting not only their personal styles but also broader cultural and economic shifts. I saw firsthand how globalization and tourism are reshaping traditional markets, leading to new challenges and opportunities for local sellers. And this insight has given me a greater appreciation for the resilience and adaptability of these individuals who continually find ways to thrive amidst change. And personally, this project has also made me more empathetic and understanding. Engaging with the vendors, observing their daily hustle, and seeing the challenges they face has broadened my perspective. I now see the Old Quarter not just a market only, but as a community of individuals, and each with their own stories and struggles. And in conclusion, this ISP has been more than just an academic exercise for me. It has been a journey of discovery, adaptation, and my own personal growth. I've learned that nothing ever will happen as expected, and that is perfectly fine. Sometimes, the best insights come from the unplanned moments, the impromptu interactions, and the need to adapt on the fly. This project has taught me to embrace the uncertainty and to find value in every experience, planned or not.